Power, betrayal, violence. History has shown us this cycle time and time again. From ancient empires to the modern world, the thirst for power often ends in bloodshed. In this episode, I'm taking you to Mexico in the early 1900s, when a general betrayed the most powerful man in the country. Before the Mexican Revolution, Mexico was ruled by a dictator. Porfirio Diaz, he seized power in 1876 through a military coup and held onto it for 35 years. But eventually the people had enough. Widespread dissatisfaction led to the uprisings, and by 1911 Diaz was forced out of office and sent into exile. A new election followed and Francisco Madero became president. Madero was popular at first, known for his commitment to democracy unlike Diaz, but his time in office was rocky. Corruption, instability, and a depleted national treasury quickly turned supporters into critics. He also failed to deliver on promised land reforms, which sparked even more outrage. In 1912 alone, 4 major revolts broke out: the Zapata Revolt in Morelos, Lorenzo Revolt in Chihuahua, and the Reyes and Diaz revolts. Felix Diaz and General Bernardo Reyes were jailed for their roles in the uprising, but behind bars they were already plotting their comeback. Their plan involved betrayal. They managed to persuade General Victoriano Huerta, a powerful military leader, to join him in turning against Madero. On February 9, 1913, the plan was set in motion. General Reyes led a charge on the National Palace but was killed in action. Felix Diaz retreated to the city arsenal, where he easily took control. Now armed with stockpiles of weapons and ammo, he began bombing the National Palace. Madero, furious, met with General Felipe Angeles and ordered him to respond. Angeles gathered over 1,000 men and stocked up on weapons to launch a counterattack. On February 10th, Madero sent General Aureliano Blanquet with 1,200 troops to reinforce the National Palace. Madero wanted Angeles to lead the operation, but his military rank hadn't been officially approved yet. Meanwhile, as chaos unfolded in the streets, the interim president tried to mediate between Madero and the rebels, but Madero refused to negotiate. He wanted all the smoke. That same day, Huerta, still pretending to support Madero, began bombarding the arsenal. His attacks caused heavy damage with innocent civilians caught in the crossfire. Behind the scenes, Huerta met with the rebels and secretly switched sides. He ordered the 18 Corps of Rurales to expose positions where they were quickly gunned down by rebel forces. Madero's forces were weakened, but he still didn't back down, sending in more troops, though they proved ineffective. By February 13th, the city was falling apart. Food, water, and transportation services collapsed. Hospitals were overflowing with wounded civilians and soldiers. Bodies lined the streets. Foreign embassies began urging Madero to resign to save civilian lives, but he refused. Meanwhile, Huerta and Diaz finalized a power-sharing deal. On February 15th, Huerta withdrew troops from key locations, giving the rebels a massive advantage. By February 16th, they were capturing more territory, still unaware of the betrayal. Madero continued to fight. On February 17, Huerta met with Madero and had him and Vice President Jose Maria Pino Suarez arrested. The next day, Huerta declared himself the new president. Most of the remaining government troops surrendered or were neutralized. Diaz had secured a promise of future power, and the coup was complete. On February 18th, Madero and Pino Suarez were imprisoned. 4 days later, during a supposed transfer, they were assassinated. The official story claimed they were shot while trying to escape, but everybody knew it was a cover-up. Their death sent shockwaves through Mexico. The betrayal was complete, but it would only deepen the revolutionary fire. Their deaths triggered outrage in Mexico. People weren't stupid. They knew it wasn't some escape gone wrong. Everybody saw it for what it was, a hit job, a betrayal that ran deep, one that shed with little trust remained in the system. The news spread fast. From the cantinas to the countryside, the people started talking, whispering, plan. Huerta may have taken the seat, but it was a throne built on blood and lies. A so-called presidency kicked off what's now known as the Decena Tragica, 10 tragic days, but in reality, the tragedy didn't end there. It lit the fuse for even more chaos, more violence, and another chapter on Mexico's revolution. Huerta's power grab made him a marked man. Revolutionary leaders like Emiliano Zapata and Pancho Villa, they weren't having it. They doubled down their fight, refusing to recognize Huerta's regime. This betrayal added fuel to a revolution already blazing. What started as a fight for democracy became something much bigger, a war over the soul of Mexico. Madero's death didn't kill the revolution, it gave it a martyr, a reason to keep fighting, and fight they did. For years, blood would spill, cities would burn, and the power would change hands again and again. But through all of that, through the bullets and the backstabbing, the broken promises, one thing stayed the same. The people never stopped pushing back, and that's the real story here. Power, betrayal, violence, it's not just history, it's the cost of change. And in Mexico's case, the change came soaked in sacrifice.